This button is probably the most powerful feature on your detector and also the most misunderstood. So to start from the start, discrimination is the concept of eliminating certain types of metals with your metal detector, which means that when you swing your metal detector over that type of target that you've discriminated out, it will now not produce a response and the detector won't beep on it. Classically, as the icon on the legend suggests, discrimination is normally set up to eliminate iron targets, so steel and rusty stuff like that. However, you can also set it up to eliminate other types of metals, which is what we're going to show you how to do in this video. And I'm also going to suggest what kind of scenarios you might want to do unique kinds of discrimination patterns on your detector. So when you turn your legend on, you're going to notice all these little piano keys up the top. And there's also going to be a letter next to them, which indicates what kind of discrimination pattern you're in. And there's 3 ones set up by default and a custom one you can change. The first preset discrimination pattern is the ferrous one. So you can notice that 10 out of these 60 piano keys are missing on the left, which is where steel and iron traditionally falls into. If we press that button again, you can change which of these little piano keys are missing and which ones are available. Press it again, you'll go to A, and A stands for all metal, which means that absolutely all types of metals and all kind of metal targets are going to be accepted and therefore detected by the metal detector. Press it one more time, we go to G, and just the first 2 segments are eliminated, and that eliminates most of your ground noise because ground has minerals in it, which often give a response to the detector. Setting up a custom discrimination pattern is super easy and it's really valuable in certain situations. And I'm going to go over what situations you would want to use a custom discrimination pattern and how to set it up. So to start customizing that C or custom discrimination mode, we just want to hold the discrimination button down for a second. So if you look under those piano keys, you've got a little cursor which you can move left and right with the left and right buttons here. Now you can see some are colored in and some are missing. And what you do to make them appear or disappear is just simply press this bottom pinpoint / accept reject button, which is the middle button right here, this big one. So what you do is you just go over to whichever piano key you want to delete or bring back, and it will either be deleted or reappear if you press it again. So what we're going to do in this scenario, for example, we might be at a park and there might be a ton of little bits of foil everywhere because the lawnmower's gone over it. We don't want to dig a lot of foil. So what we'll do is we'll go to the number 11 to 20 and delete all of those segments by moving across the cursor one at a time and pressing that middle pinpoint accept reject button and deleting them one by one, pressing the right button, moving to each new piano key and just deleting them until your screen looks like that. So that just means that everything from 1 to 19 has been totally deleted from the detector, meaning any bits of metal that normally come up in that range between 1 and 19 will now be totally deleted and your detector won't give you any response or beep on those metal objects anymore. A really powerful custom program, which we use in Australia a lot of the time, is where we delete the segments from 1 to 40. And the reason we do this is that most Australian trash is below the number 40. However, most of our valuable coins are above the number 40, like our $1 and $2 coins, as well as almost all of our old pre-decimal copper and silver coins like shillings, florins, threepence, pennies, etc. So we can massively increase the ratio of coins that we dig versus the trash. So generally speaking, my top tips when it comes to how much discrimination to use or when to use it is based on how many targets there are on the ground. So if you're in a field or a beach where the targets are more sparse, generally using less discrimination is better because the reality is you're not spending a large proportion of your time digging anyway. However, if you're in an area that's littered with targets, I think being selective about what you're going to dig, especially if you know what kind of trash targets keep coming up, you can discriminate those out and avoid wasting time. Now, with all great features and settings on a metal detector, there are pros and cons to discrimination too. When you are using discrimination, at some point in time, you are guaranteed to miss some targets that are of high value. However, using discrimination in the right scenario will guarantee that you're going to dig more high value items than if you were to dig everything all the time. To know if you should start using discrimination in a certain area or what kind of discrimination you want to use, I highly recommend using the minimal amount of discrimination when you start in an area that you haven't detected before. You're going to be able to establish what kind of history the area has, what kind of targets there are, if there's modern trash or not. For all you know, everything at that site might be valuable or precious to you or interesting. So in my opinion, if you go to an area that you haven't been to before and you don't know the history, start by digging everything except iron, unless you want iron relics, to establish what kind of targets are in the ground. Look guys, at the end of the day, it's all about having fun. So if you enjoy digging absolutely everything, good on you, because the whole fun of metal detecting is the fact that you don't know what you're gonna dig. And if you start being too discriminatory, it kind of becomes too repetitive. But if you're digging a bit of everything, you never know what you're gonna dig. In the right scenarios, discrimination is probably gonna let you find a few more valuable and interesting targets than maybe your friend that you're detecting with. I hope you liked the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.